Hey, what's our show called again?
It's just I can go back to everything later.
Yeah, hey, our show's called What's the Deal?
What's the deal?
All right, welcome back to What's the Deal?
What is the deal?
So before we started, I had to ask DJ. I was like, "Hey, what did we decide to name our podcast?" And oh yeah, it was What's the Deal?
I think it's going to eventually come around and start being a big deal.
I think we need to get like a little music clip or something where it's like I can almost see it like a bit on like Sports Center or something where they go like, "What's the deal with that?"
Yep.
Yeah, and if Sports Center wants to Sports Center wants to sponsor the show. Speaking of censorship, hey Google, thanks for shutting all our down today.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
You know, but I will say this. The last few weeks we've been going through like really getting this kind of commercial stuff relaunched and redone. And there was a lot of things, I think, like even as a small bit, which is kind of the things I recognize, even big businesses and mid-range business, stuff like that, you can lose, like shifts happen within the business. And there's things that you have to change, and Google was one of them. Like, I mean, going through these last couple of weeks, we're like, yeah, we got to change this. We switched from THLT to Harrison Lilly, and like making those little minor shifts and stuff within the business. And it just was one of those things that I really think people just, we forgot that we got to go do this, right? And,
Oh yeah,
and then now you have with this, it's like this. Well, guess what?
woke up. We have zero Google. Like, so guys, we spent a lot of money on Google and a lot of effort in asking people to leave us reviews and nurturing those reviews and responding to them when we get a bad one and going, hey, how do we make this a 5 for you? We don't want anybody to leave with a 1 experience. And we spent a lot of money on this. When you wake up and like 10 years worth of work is out the door, it's I had people who don't wake up until 8 o'clock calling me at 6:30 in the morning, and I was very impressed. So I was thankful for that.
Man, so I guess not to shift to the city, but just kind of. So when we walked in the door, this is a very, very similar experience that happened. We were given a list of passwords to all the social media and and I'm not saying when the list was printed, put in the envelope, and put on the desk that it wasn't current then, because I don't think it was this guy that changed it.
Yeah.
I think it was someone else that had access to it that changed them all, but not a single password we had.
So did y'all have to go back and like prove that y'all were who you were and that
All of it, and
that's a nightmare.
The even bigger nightmare is like when you go into Facebook and stuff like that, if your email address, like everything after the @ is not the same as your website, it's an even bigger.
In Google, the answer is yes.
Yeah, and so like we went through. I mean, it took probably. I'm not exaggerating. It took probably about 3 months just to get access to the social and all the even the things we didn't use.
For Google, it took us 3 months to get our HVAC company up on Google. And then we've been up for 3 weeks, and we just got shut down.
Right back
Yes,
down. Yeah.
back in jail.
Yeah.
But no, so anyway, so what's the deal? Google got us. But anyway, we're working on that. Thank you to Snap Me Creative. I reached out to Josh Carroll this morning at like 7:30. I was like, dude, I have a Google 911. Within 30 minutes, I'm on the phone with his partner's wife, who is their Google expert, and she's like, look, just make me an admin. I'm going to make this go away for you guys. So they haven't resolved it yet, but I believe they will, and I do appreciate the speedy service. That was awesome. And this is pretty much a holiday day. So that's some exceptional 10 out of 10 service. So go leave Snap Me Creative a 5-star Google review, but not everybody all at once. They don't like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, DJ, we had the last few weeks. So are you officially a licensed realtor?
As of last Friday, I paid all my dues. And
Oh, how'd that feel?
Stuff. We won't talk about it.
Oh, I want to talk about
No.
it. We don't.
I will say this. I have talked about it with other realtors, not under this roof, and outside, and they feel the same.
Oh yeah. And look, I'm not. Anyway, just fees happen, right?
They do.
Fees happen.
I ran into this, and I actually had a conversation this week with someone about kind of permitting and things like that. Because believe it or not, guys, I still get calls about, hey, how do I do this with the city? And that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not
Call
sure
me.
if he's like working for like the brand right now or if he's still working for Friday, but
No,
whatever.
look, Friday's part of my brand. I just need everybody to know that. And it's a good part of my brand too. He helped me get to this place in my career. But but with that being said, like people still, I'm gonna go back to when we opened Neat, and there are things as a small business owner that you just don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Like we poured a slab for the patio, didn't pull a permit for that. Put a fence around it, didn't pull a permit for that.
And truthfully, like at this point in my life, I do those things knowingly. At that point in my life, where I thought I was just being an American and starting a business.
Yeah. And but here's the other thing that I learned internally is that people in the permitting department, the engineering department, and stuff like that, like they're working with this every single day. So every single day, it just seems like this is just commonplace. You need to do this. You should know this.
Yeah.
And so my biggest hurdle internally was always talking to them like, guys, there's two things. Like there's an occupational license and occupational permit. First off, we need to change the name of one of these. And
those words right there almost got me kicked out of my building after I moved in, and it was a not so great experience. But yeah, anyway, it was fun.
And I fixed it. It's all right. It's an easy fix if you know the language. But
But who knows the language?
Most that's what I'm. Not the hurdle that I had.
Yeah, we own 3 construction companies, and we didn't know the language.
But in the same breath, that's what I was like. We need to change this, and then also, people would call me. A big part of my job there was fixing problems for the mayor. He's like, look, man, everybody's going to call up here. They're going to want to, and a lot of people do. Social media, everything. They want a meeting with the mayor because they believe that a meeting with him will fix the problem. Well, guys, I can tell you there's about 3 to 5, just kind of depending where the problem goes, phone calls that he's going to make after he meets with you. A majority of those were to me or the COO, Jimmy Bryant. And that was hey, guys, we got a workforce problem. We got, something. Y'all go fix this.
Yeah.
And a lot of times especially for me and Chief Bryant, like it was one of those, hey, I understand you need a meeting with the mayor, but
what can I help you with?
Why don't you tell me what we're going to meet about? And if I can fix it today, would that solve your problem? Yeah. And most people are like, just solve the problem. I don't really need it. I just need this fixed.
The who's not as important as the what.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like getting these problems fixed. And a lot, like I said, a girl called me this week. She's like, man, I need this. I need this. I need this. The city's telling me this. I was like, well, look, I don't work for the city, so let me be a little less political than what they're doing to you. The permitting process within the city limits is somewhat of a tax. And that tax is in place so that, believe it or not, it actually helps with property values and things across the city. It allows it to where in the residential neighborhoods, you don't have gas stations and businesses and stuff popping up, which then diminishes your property values. It keeps property values on a level playing field. But at the end of the day, to do that, there has to be a staff in place that manages all of that. So go pull your business permit, your construction permit, pay that tax, and then they'll start working with you. And I know it seems like a very tedious deal. A lot of that stuff online, like the My Government Online stuff, a lot of that, if you don't have it, next page. You don't have to fill that out. Just go to the next page. And it's explaining that to property owners and getting that information to them was a huge part of what I did on a regular basis. And just like that's what they mean. It's like, well, they're not trying to tell you, hey, go pay your fees and that's the only way I can work with you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
it is 100%.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And so
something for something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And kind of the same thing with a lot of these companies we're working with now. And I would say segueing back to Google and like get in there, do what you need to do, get it figured out, get it all right, and then you can move forward.
Yeah. That's what we're doing today. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So DJ, we have been a licensed realtor for all of a week now. Mm-hmm. How's life?
It's good. Part of that, and I would probably recommend if you're going to get a license this time of the year have some money saved up because Christmas is right around the corner. But this is a good time of year to get that done because, man, there's so much continuing ed. Like I'm in the middle of an ethics class right now for it. There's a new member MLS train. Like there's a lot of trainings and stuff that you have
Post
to do.
licensing.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that you have to sit in front of a computer screen for. And this time of year, especially around Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff like that, it's a downtime in the market. People are more interested in spending money on their families.
Yeah.
I say that. I remember.
You say that, and I'm about to have the best November. So my November, and we're not finished yet, but I think we have like 11 closings left for the month. This November will double last November. And our team size has not doubled by any means. Just productivity, per agent productivity is through the roof this year. We are definitely, our goal this year was over 600 units. We're going to do like 620, 640 pretty easy.
Yeah, and I was saying that to say that also with that, you have everything going on east of here and everybody's moving in. Man, I grabbed breakfast at Delta Biscuit a couple Sundays ago and ran into the chancellor at Delta, and he's like, man, we put in 3 offers on 3 different properties that were all pending as soon as we put the offers in. And he's like, man, the market is moving very sporadically right now. But
sporadically and different. Like, so the last 2 weeks, I've been looking at the MLS and like not seeing a whole lot of pending. And then yesterday I log in and like the pending page was this long, and I was like, oh, good. And then I saw a lot of red. Red means mine. And I was like, even better. Yeah, good job, listing agents. Appreciate you guys. So no, that's been great. And then, so if y'all don't know this, DJ is partnering with us and helping us relaunch our commercial division. I truly believe that the recipe that we're baking right now is going to be a winning one. And it's just to bring in a lot of the tech and a lot of the marketing that we do all in residential, and bring that to the commercial sector of real estate in Northeast Louisiana. And here's what we found out when we were doing a marketing audit is that no one's spending any money in marketing in the commercial side because they haven't had to, because they haven't had a real competitor. And so between DJ and Alex, we are hoping that our salesman analyst duo with a great marketing plan and able to serve clients on a higher level and a different level is going to make a turn for that market where people go to your normal brokers who are doing commercial and go, they've been doing the same thing for the last 50 years. And we're in a digital age. We're in a tech age. Things are changing. Things are moving so rapidly. If you're not moving with it, you're going to get left behind. And that's what we intend to do.
Oh, yeah. And we're also in a market where, for the longest, I mean, look, I've lived in Monroe 22 years now. And for the longest time, if we grew from within. We're in a market now where you have people from California and Arizona and Texas and New York and Michigan that are looking at our market and trying to buy up blocks of properties because of the things coming here from.
Let's get into the why of that. All right. Now, here's what I believe, and correct me if you have a different opinion. I don't think any of us know here at the table, and we have theories. So I talk to people in real estate all over the country. In fact, I just left one of Tom Ferry's events. If you don't know who Tom Ferry is, #1 real estate coach in the country. And so I went to one of his top-level masterminds. There was 150 people in the room with this guy who you normally can't get in the room with unless it's 5,000 to 10,000 people, and you're just a mile away from the guy, right? And sitting in this room and talking to some of these people, and they sell a lot of houses in big markets. Are making a lot more money than we do here locally. And they're like, hey, what is a good investment there? Like, what kind of cap rate are you getting? And I was like, oh, I don't touch anything for less than a 14. And they're like, wait, there's 14s? And I was like, I have 30s. And they're like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, 14's like entry level for me. And they're like, so I could come there and just buy market value. And I was like, oh, I could probably get you in between 7 and 11% pretty much all day, every day on the market. And they were like, you're kidding me. I was like, yeah. Hey, look, take my number. When you get $200,000 or $300,000, give me a holler. I'll show you the best cash on cash you've ever seen in your life in real estate. And so when you see these large investors, I mean, somebody who's making $3-4 million a year in California, man, that's just not a lot of money there. That's just not. Well, over here, if you put in half of that into residential real estate, I can show you a 12% cash on cash return all day long. And if you guys don't know what 12% cash on cash means, it means you give me $100 and I give you $112 every year. And that's a That's a good, or I'm sorry. Well, your 100 is still secure, and I'm going to give you $12 every year on that. That's 12% cash on cash.
Yeah.
And so here's where I stand: is my net worth is somewhere around $10 million, and if you gave me a 12% cash on cash return, I would 100,000% liquidate my net worth and go, here you go, DJ. You take my money, my 10 million secure, and you're going to give me $1.2 million every year to live on. Have a good day.
Yep.
Right? That's a crazy good investment. And so when you start talking those numbers in those rooms, people's ears start perking up. And so that's what I believe is happening is their markets are so overpriced right now, and the return is just not there, where you can come over here and you can actually win.
Well, it's not even. It's that the property value. Like the craziness. We're talking about the overinflated property values that people and I'm just going to use this one for example. Like people in Rabel that are listing land at 70, 80 an acre, and how incredibly inflated that is because a year ago that property was $6,000, $9,000 an acre or something like that.
Yeah, but when you use the word inflated, talking about a piece of property or a building, you have to think highest and best use. And when you're talking about a $1 trillion company moving into the area and what they can do with it, and man, you really have to flex your mind on how Meta makes money. Okay, they created a software that we signed up for, and they're selling virtual space. Guys, do y'all know what virtual space costs? Nothing. Nothing. They're selling time essentially, which is the highest value that you could sell, and the time is the time of their programmers and their computer scientists and things like and their engineers, and it is absolutely amazing. The richest people I know, like I personally know, are either A, wealthy in real estate because that's the realm I'm in, or it's people who are specializing in a SaaS model, which is a subscription. Like you create a software that builds up subscriptions and then you sell it. There's a local guy, I'm not going to use his name, but I was getting to sit down and talk to him, just two young guys who love killing it, and I really get energy when I'm around them. And was just listening to him talk about his model and what he was doing and all this stuff and partnering with people and flying to China to meet people. And by the way, this kid's younger than I am, like way younger. And like telling me what he made last month and last year. And I'm just like, holy cow. He will sit at a computer and develop a software for months, sell it to a few hundred people for subscriptions, and then go, all right, I'm done with this project. I have proven that it works. Hey, big companies, this thing is available now. And then go sell it and just get paid. It is absolutely nuts. But that is essentially what Facebook, Meta, X, all of them are doing is we need subscribers. Now that we have subscribers, now we need advertisers.
Right.
Everybody and their mama is advertising there because it is the best bang for buck advertising in the world right now. And then we, the consumers, are eating up their product. Hey, are you Meta verified? You giving them your $22.19 a month?
Not yet.
Okay, well I am. Have been. Pretty much all of my business partners are. Everybody who wants to be an influencer or is a creator is paying for it. I mean, they are selling you every step of the way, and we are eating it up. They are creating money out of thin air.
Isn't it so wild though? You go back to like the movie about Facebook and all that starting, and how anti-advertising they were on the very front end because he had a vision that it would get to this point, but you had to get people.
You have to bring value in order to monetize.
Ingrained in it, and that they couldn't, because Facebook and even Instagram and a lot of these are to the point. Like the three I use: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. They're to a point where they're part of my probably now LinkedIn a good bit too. Those four are probably part of my day-to-day routine where I'm checking news, checking on family, just checking on information, and really a lot of it is it's just part of how our generation takes information in, and so they had to get it to that point where it's like, hey, this is part of your day-to-day routine. Now I'm gonna start hitting you. Now there are advertisements that they're running now, like the ones at the very bottom of the screen that I don't like those because you can close them out and another one's just populated right back in. But outside of that,
you're talking about the ones on like on your videos when you're in Reels.
Yep.
Oh yeah, those are so annoying. I actually do hate that. Mark, I know you're a big fan of mine and a big subscriber. So if some consumer review here, take those down. Those are absolutely the only ad I hate in social media is that.
Me too. And but it's not just social media though. It's popped up in games that you may play on your phone. I mean, that bottom, right where your thumb, because everything's navigated with your thumb, right? It's right there, and I think a lot of it's to the point of like they're selling clicks, and if you accidentally click it, there you go. There's
and they're setting you up for failure there. Like, hey, look, we had 3,000 people such your product, but you had 0 sales.
Well, yeah. When I was at the New Star, that's what I sold a lot of online advertising. That was the biggest thing that I was selling was page views on the website and click rate. And this is way before. This is when it was the tabs above,
Oh yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it was Johnny page views. We had 4 million page views a day.
Yeah, and that is something you can sell. But like they can now track click through rate, how long people stayed on a site. You can look at your analytics and see how long somebody oh look, you had 1 million views on your video. But then you go to Insights and you can look and go like, yeah, it was a 3-minute video, and the average consumer watched it for about 3 seconds. You didn't have 1 million real views here.
Kind of like what this is going to do.
Yeah. Hey, look, guys, we're just about numbers and boosting our little egos, making our large heads larger.
I do have a big head.
You do, man. What size hat is that?
I wear an 8. I really do have a big.
I think mine's like a 7 something.
Yeah, most people is a 7 something. Mine's. I've always been made
Yeah, it's
fun
okay.
of.
Hey, save your hats. Clayton will be able to wear them here for years.
My daughter too. Bless her.
Yeah.
We also look. Here's another thing to talk about. We had a pretty good weekend.
Dude, we did. So one thing that we really, really love to do, and I do preach wealth, and I get hated on sometimes on social media about money and all that stuff, just because I'm not afraid to talk about it. But one of the things that I love to do is, obviously we work our asses off, and yes, we do have revenues inside of our for-profit businesses, but I have a belief system around finances, and we are blessed enough to let it come to us, and we are blessed enough to let it come through us. And so we are very, very big on giving and I know that for me personally, I have a very jaded view about giving to adults, because I believe that we all have the same opportunities for the most part. Like if God made you an able-bodied, able-minded human being, we all have decisions to make in life, and when we are the captain of that ship, with His blessing, of course. And you make wrong decisions, you're going to get bad outputs, right?
That's right.
But man, it's just the unspoken generation where we actually imposed their futures and their current being on them, and I think that's on us. And so I also think it's on us if we're out here being successful on this planet to set a good example and help provide. And so we were able to partner with the Children's Coalition and do our first ever Gather and Give event hosted by all of our companies. And it was a really cool thing, man. You were out there for a bit. Like, how did your kids like it? What'd you think about it?
They loved it, man. So we had the circa 2000 to 2005 bubble machine, Club La Vila vibes.
It was
for 7 to 8 year olds, just the bubble. My kids, it was not hot. I'm gonna say that. It wasn't cold outside, but it was definitely probably needed a little long sleeve T-shirt, and my kids never left the bubbles the whole time. Hell, I posted videos. Harrison even got in the bubbles for a little while. Yeah,
even after I told all the adults they couldn't get in there, I was already. The kids had just smoked me in the dunking booth, and I was already nasty. And I I'm gonna run some kids through the bubble machine.
Yeah, no, it was all in good fun. And then there was the bouncy houses. Like that's for me. If I tell my kids, hey, you want to go jump in some bouncy houses? That is an immediate. Why are we even talking about this?
Hop in the car, Dad.
Let's go. And so my kids were in there. Then they had the Dunkin' booth, and we did there was the pie walk and stuff like that. And it was there were silent auctions. There were things. I mean, it was across the board things for families. I mean, Doe's was there with food, with great food.
The food was
cocktails, all kind of stuff. I mean, it was a good event for us for me. So coming into this. It was a good way for me to kind of build camaraderie with new coworkers and things like that, and then really to understand what all is under this roof, the pursuit of happiness, and what opportunities are here. There were some pretty good items auctioned off. I mean, air conditioning units for your house. There was There was one I'm gonna throw, and I hope this plays out well. So my high school played against. We lost to OCS when I was a sophomore in high school in the state championship.
DJ is still hurt from
It's
something that
not-
happened
no,
30
no.
years ago.
No, 25 years ago. But it was one of those things, like as a sophomore in high school, if you'd have told me I'd have more friends in life that are on the other side of the field than on the side that I'm standing on, I'd called you crazy.
Yeah.
But now, so like some of my closest friends were OCS grads that played on that team. And so, of course, as good buddies, as former student athletes together, like every time this game comes up, it's like LSU playing Alabama and you got a buddy from Alabama. Like the messages come up. And so they both schools won this past Friday. And I'm talking about, it wasn't 5 minutes after I saw both the scores. Hey, I'm going down to South Louisiana. Which one of you nerds want to come with me?
Yeah.
I'm wearing red. Go
Yeah.
Rebels. And so, you had that. We had an OCS helmet. And here's the fun one. I made the phone call for the guy to get this whole team to sign it. And I was walking around making jokes. And as soon as I text him, he goes, "What do you need? You need the team to sign this so you can take that helmet and throw it in the locker room before the game next Friday?"
And to be clear, if DJ had won, it may have happened.
No, I wouldn't do that. That's just, because we had people that did give us that stuff. But in the same breath, I would have wrote, 2025 state champions on it, then thrown it in there.
Yeah. But I feel like that thing would have came out in a lot of pieces.
Oh, a bunch of pieces.
Yeah.
And here's the fun, like the head coach in my high school, he and I, when we grew up like 2 houses down from each other. One of his assistants is one of my closest friends. Like it's one of those, like, it's a small town school. And so there's still a lot of ties in there. I mean, I'm going Friday night to go watch them play, and I think it's probably the fourth game I've watched since I graduated high school. Two of them have been here at OCS when they played them in the playoffs in the past. And so I'm excited about it, but like you said, we had some pretty cool stuff that we did with silent auctions and a lot of stuff internally. I mean, it's for the first year, there was you take these events, and I've hosted fundraisers, I've done these things on the political side of stuff. The amount of money that was raised, and I'm gonna let Harrison say that in a minute, but the amount of money that was raised, the amount of good that was done, just loving on people, like good events like that is more of what our community needs. There's other opportunities to do things. There's a tremendous amount of room for growth in this. I mean, I'm excited, and I don't want to be, but I think there's an opportunity to even double what we raised.
Oh, 100%.
Next year in this, and because look, when you're doing new events like this, and people involved, they don't know what to expect. There's just kind of a sense of skepticism to the whole deal. But when you go in there and say, "Hey, this is what we donated, guys, from your time today," and you take a step back and say, "Holy cow, that's a lot." We did a lot of good. And so you want to tell them?
Yeah, so I was actually before I make this statement, I need you guys to know that no one is more critical of me than me. And I think that's just champion's curse. The good always want to be better. And so I had some very lofty goals, and we didn't hit those, but they were tallying up how much money was raised, and Deidre came up to me, and she was almost in tears, and her voice started cracking, and she's like, "Harrison, we got the numbers." And I was like, "Oh, well, great. Well, what were they?" Because I was a little disappointed. Felt like there was just going to be a little bit more. And she was like, "Well, we'll tell you in a minute." I was like, No, I want to know. Like, what? Like, just go ahead and tell me. And so her voice starts cracking again, and she's like, "So the Dragon Boat races are our biggest event every year." I said, "Well, I knew it was one of your big ones. I don't know anything." And she's like, "Well, we spend all year putting that event together. Like, we have to invest our personal money in it. We're the ones putting up the funds. We're the ones doing all the fundraising. Our staff is working it. We're renting the boats. We're getting them in here." And I was like, "Okay." And she was like, "You guys raised over double what the Dragon Boat races did. This is the largest charity event that we've ever had." And then that event was what would that be? 10 hours long. Felt like 80. We raised $48,000 for the Children's Coalition.
And that's, man. Like you said, I do fundraisers all the time, and it's a lot different. It's for mine are typically for adults and stuff like that, but it's almost $50,000 to go to an organization that is attacking the issues that are for young people and people that, like you said, they can't control. They need some help controlling their own outcome. Kids cannot. I look at my own kids, even my 12-year-old, who's very sound minded. He can't take care of himself yet. You know, like he doesn't have skills to go get a job, or he's not even old enough to go do that. And, you know, if I were to disappear and he would have to take care of his siblings, you know,
that's a real reality for some people.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back 2 generations for me. My grandmother was in 4th grade. She had to drop out of school to take care of her siblings because her mom had passed, and they had nobody there. And if how
do you cook? I don't know. Figure it out.
Right. And my great grandfather, like he walked like 4 miles to work every day to go work at a sugar mill for like $2-3 a day. And walk back home every afternoon. And so it was just kind of the part of the times, but that generation is not that far behind us that we're doing this. And so we as adults, especially like that, like in an opportunity where you can give, if we can give to organizations that are taking that 48,000 and turning it into 150,000 and dispersing that.
Dude, if that 48,000, like you just never know what could happen. I always try to look really, really optimistically about the investment made, because it's the only way I can. But let's say that $48,000 and all that work that everybody put into for that week, for this event, like what if we just changed a future politician's life who's going to go out and be the one who makes the vote to tell Big Pharma to STFU and we're going to cure cancer?
Yep.
What if we helped raise the next Michael Jordan up just because, and just say, hey, you now have a chance because some people got together and did something good, and then they use their voice and their platform to like 10x that movement. Like, you just never know whose life you're changing. And we're going to make that investment and continue making that investment, knowing that we're doing good.
Yeah, and so it's a great. Children are always a good thing to invest in. One of my absolute favorite, and it's can you start hearing the numbers and the information on this. And this is because it's this time of year. I highly recommend you guys go out and do this. The bag lunches that are sent home by the Northeast Food Bank to kids. There are some kids that don't have food on the weekends, right? And they're crazy. And they're in school. And the crazier part to that, and it's why it's one of my favorite ones, is those bags don't necessarily get sent home to feed the kids that backpack is in. It's the younger brothers, younger siblings, younger sisters that are at home that this gives them access to some nourishment and things like that. So
just get an apple.
Yeah, there's just, and I never realized how much poverty we have in our own community until you have a hurricane hit or a tornado come through town, and you go drive around that area and start cleaning things up. And it's there's two moments when I worked in the mayor's office that really just stood out to me. We were driving. One was during the hurricane. We were driving around handing out food boxes, and there was a little boy. I mean, he couldn't have been 4 years old. And the only clothes he had on was he had a pair of old Holy sweatpants that were definitely his mom or dad's sweatpants. Like sweatpants big enough to fit me. And he's holding them up, running down the street trying to get a food box so they can get something to eat. And another one was we had, I think the tornado came through. We had a lot of people that had donated food and things like that, and the mayor had, and it's just, I think last episode we talked about God's plan and stuff like that, but the mayor's like, man, we got all this stuff. Where do we go? I said, man, I had a guy, shout out to Ash, that used to work for me at Pickle Barrel, that I went and dropped off one day at some apartments, and he told me, he said, hey, bro, you need to ease on out. You stick out around here. I was like, oh yeah, I got you. I'll go. I was like, but what I remember when I dropped him off was just kids everywhere. I was like, let's go there, because we had candy and all kind of stuff. I was like, let's just go drop them off there. And we pull up, and there's like 2 or 3 kids outside. I'm talking about like my kid, like 12 and under, just outside playing. And I was like, hey, y'all, it's gonna sound bad when I say, y'all want some candy? and they're like, what? They're like, we got food.
No, my parents told me about you.
And I was like, no, we got food boxes, we got candy. Like, what y'all? let everybody know we're here. Like, we got stuff. Y'all not, come see.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about in less than 10 minutes, we probably had 40 to 50 kids. Like that just, hey, come up, free food. Like, and they just came swarming out. And that's what Friday was like, all right, we're going to close the day out here every single day. And we went back there every single day. Whatever we had, whatever we could give, we were bringing there. And it was because, of, it's, the thing about that is like, you got mine. And I dealt with this a lot with my kitchen staff at Pickle Barrel. I was like, you have people that are working, they work a shift for me in the morning, they work for somebody in the afternoon, and they're doing the best they can to make ends meet, but you can't be in two places at once, and childcare is so expensive, and just everything is so dang expensive. And so it gets to a certain point where you kind of hope for the best for your children. And if
a lot of that can be fixed with great decisions over time, and then once you're there, you're there.
Yep.
I mean, that's I know that there's somebody on the other end of this going, well, if they would do, guys, we're past that point.
Yep.
And we can't dictate their lives. All we can do is try to be leaders.
Well, here was the thing in that, and
Yeah.
I will tell you, everyone, it's just this mindset change you have. Like at 17, 18 years old, you think you can conquer the world, and you can with the right decisions, but you're not really handed a playbook on how to do it. And you get to a certain, you're like, I don't need that. And you look back, and it's like the game of life. If you go around this way and get your college education, the chances of you winning the game are a lot better. But it's the very beginning of the game. And you're like, oh, well, I can go 3 spaces this way and go, or I can go another 20 this way, and I'll be behind them. No, it's that investment on the early age. And
That is so true. That's because that is everything in life. Like, I didn't go the college route, but I can tell you that you have to slow down to speed up. You have to take a step down to elevate yourself. And I try to preach this to our realtors, to our roofing salespeople, to our HVAC guys. If you will take, because we live in a world where you can make good money here, and as soon as I see a new salesperson start making a lot of money, I immediately see their time off go up. Their vacations get nicer. They have new cars in their driveway. They probably have a new house or a new apartment. And then, vacations get longer and nicer, all these things. And guys, I'm going to tell you what my secret sauce was to raising a big business. It looked like I made a lot of money on paper, and I paid myself $40,000 to $60,000 a year for the first 5 years. And it was because I reinvested and created a huge foundation that our businesses were able to explode. And if you would do that in your life, it's the same thing about what he just talked about on that game board. Yeah. You can go the college route, which is one way, right? Like, in my opinion, it's college or trades. You need to pick one. If you're going to specialize in something that makes a lot of money or that is your calling, you go to college. If you're not going to do either one of those things, you should go to trades. Trades are going to be huge, guys. You should listen.
Electricians are going to make a lot.
Electricians, plumbers, mechanics. It's going to be, those robots got to have somebody to work on them.
Look, I was raised by electricians. Electricians were making a lot of money 30, 40, 50
They're
years
making even
ago.
more now. If you notice, contractors don't drive white F-150s anymore. They pull up in your house in Range Rovers.
There was a joke. When we were going through opening a NEAT together, or whatever. There was some bids that came in on some projects. Like, damn, that's high. And somebody said, yeah, there's only 3 people in life that wear Rolexes: attorneys, electricians, and plumbers.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, well, I guess you're right.
But anyway, the overarching point to all that is, if you will take the time to prepare to have an amazing life, you will launch a beautiful, beautiful life. But if you're in such a hurry to go after all the big things and you go after the shortcuts and you think that this is going to be easy, guys, it is 100% of the time in my life, with 2 exceptions. Either A, they hit the lottery, or B, they were family money. And if it wasn't one of those things, those people typically who are taking those shortcuts, they always land back on their face. There are people in my life right now, there are business partners that I have right now, in investments and things, where they always are chasing the next shiny object. And I'm telling them to watch out, but if they don't listen, I already know what's going to happen. It's going to go poorly. They're either going to come to me and ask me to bail them out, which I'm not going to do, or they're just going to have to reset. And unfortunately, the reset is how 99.9% of those people end up.
And as one of those former business partners that happened to, the reset is is really hard. Like when everything kind of closed and everything went away, there was a lot of the only interviews I can get were starting over. Like, I'm talking about completely starting
Like,
over.
so DJ had a multi 6-figure income. And what was your best job offer prior to the city?
Oh, I was making $20,000 a year working part time for the Small Business Development Center. Everything else was entry level. It was sales type stuff, but it was like $30,000 a year plus opportunity commissions, and it wasn't it. But I would say a part of it is a market. A part of it is, once you hire, entrepreneurs are built in a way that if they lose, it'll take them a little while. They'll get back on their feet, but guess what? They're going to go back to being an entrepreneur. Kind of where I'm at right now. And now look, it took me 5 years to get to that point, and a lot of help from the mayor and from you and from other people. Like it's a mental, like when you lose, there's a mental place it takes you, especially for me. Like, man, I thought I couldn't. Dude, I was going to conquer the world. I could do whatever
You couldn't
I
lose at that point in your life.
I couldn't go wrong with anything. And then all of a sudden, all of it, all at once, and there was no backup plan. And in losing like that, man, dude, I ruined a lot of relationships. It was not purposefully done. I lost people. Look, there are people still online, which will eventually probably get them here, that are still very mad at me for things that happened with things that were, I don't want to say out of my control. As the owner, it was all in my control, but
It was just you were too deep at that
I
point.
was just too deep at that point to fix the problems that they had and that they have. And, look, I apologize for all of that. But then here's another thing, guys. If I can give you one piece of advice, when someone's down, if you kick them and expect them to come back around and help you when they can, they won't. From experience, they won't. There are a few people that I can tell you that from when all of that stuff went on, that was what things that were going on and stuff. Like, I want to help everyone I can, and there's not a single thing I did maliciously, on purpose or any. But then there were people that were just, I can't believe you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, man, my dad told me when I moved up here to Monroe, he said, be mindful of the toes you step on today. They may be attached to the ass you have to kiss tomorrow. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there are people that call me like, hey, when you do this, and I just look at it like, oh yeah, okay, put that right over here. I don't care.
Got a few of those people on my phone. Yeah.
And it's I don't say that maliciously. I just say that, and the older I get, the more I realize. And look, and I come from a world where I have to know everybody. And you get on my social media account, I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and it's because you have to add, because you have to get voice out, and you have to message. There's like, but then you start peeling back. Like, how many of these people are actually like people that I'd call with and go hang out with? I had a couple buddies the other night. I had the ULM Hall of Fame, and I had a Cancer Society event. And I had this, and it was just an all day thing. And I get to my buddy's house, have a glass of whiskey, and we're just watching some football, and they're like, so you had a busy day today? And I say, yeah. And the best part of my day is sitting right here with you two.
Yeah.
It's just it is what it is, and it's because when you have close people to you, it makes it better. And it's like,
oh, you got to have that.
And in that, and what I have, like I said, what I've learned, and really in that last 5 years is that. But in this also, it's the nobody can fix these problems but you.
Yeah.
Because they're your problems, right? And there's nobody can jump in there. And now, can people assist you? For the last 6 months, have you been in my ear saying, what the hell are you doing? What's taking you so long? What's going on? Like, people can
honestly,
motivate you.
I honestly thought you were going to back out.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people did.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it was hot and heavy for a second, and then I think real life, and then, of course, like, there's just the time period it takes to make things happen. And the transition, and, man, like, leaving a salary position to go and live a commission-only income life.
A good salary.
A good
position
salary
with
position.
a lot of perks.
Yeah, with perks, and to come back on the entrepreneurial grind is it's a scary thing.
It is, but also within that fear, there's the success that you get from that. And like I said, some of these things that I've learned is like, if you constantly do things in life that are easy and average, and you'll never accomplish things. And as crazy as this sounds, I feel like I'm supposed to accomplish big things in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that working in the mayor's office we were not doing that. We won not one, but 2 races in a community that people would have told you up and down could not be done. And then not only did we do it the first time, but the second time we put up numbers. Like that night when I had the opportunity to tell the mayor, hey, we won, but by the way, there ain't no way we repeating these kind of numbers again. And I could be wrong. We very well may when he runs again. But it's like there are things that we achieved in there and things that we've done. And I can look back at my time. I tell people all the time, like I can go, if I went and worked at a city in Dallas doing that, I feel like it would not have been as fun or as rewarding because it gets to be too big. But in this town, there were projects that I headed up and that I did that driving around town. I can say, oh, I helped do that. I helped do that. I helped do this. And it made it a lot more rewarding because you see within your own community the differences you're making. This fundraising event made a huge difference in our community. But when it's all said and done, we don't necessarily know where that $48,000 is going, right?
I mean, we pray that it is.
No, I mean, I'm not. This is not me speaking, but like you don't know exactly.
Yeah, no, you just,
As an entrepreneur, when you're like, all right, I'm spending this much on this advertising, this much on this much on that, you see it in work and in play, and you see what your return is on spending those dollars.
yeah.
And so, I very much believe that $48,000 is going to get spent in a very good way, and I think the Children's Coalition is going to use that money to, and they apply for a bunch of national, like all kind of different grants, and they can collateralize those funds to get more free money. It helps them tremendously, and I think they're going to do it in great. But you don't necessarily like I don't work. In there, so I don't know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And so, but as an entrepreneur, being able to see those things and being able to kind of gather and put all your beans on the table and put them in a way, and it's just one of those things like you can see that growth and what comes out of that growth. Like I said, it's not comfortable, it's not easy, but if you're able to succeed with that, I from day one always told people this: as an entrepreneur, you're going to realize 2 things. You work for the best boss you've ever had and the worst boss you've ever had.
I'm a shitty boss.
And because if you want to take off, you can take off. Mm-hmm. If you want to go to work,
And
you
my
can
boss
go to
believes
work.
in no work, no off days.
Yeah. And you don't have to, right. And
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about getting fired.
Yeah.
But you also have to worry about letting people go. Like you start recognizing that you're building something within this, you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
You require other people. I mean, you come into this building, there's different organizations that are running and going. It's like a bunch of ants just constantly moving in a bunch of different directions. And you recognize they're all marching towards the same somewhat common goal. But you do realize that there's a little bit coming here, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. And it's all of it is moving. I said one of the first things I think I told Harrison the first week of being here is like, I knew he was successful and he was doing things right. But then when you get behind the scenes and you meet the people that are actually doing the work, they're making the whole engine run, it's a very impressive machine. And what did he, of course, say? Well, we got a long way to go. We're still working on things. So it was like,
Oh, well, we are. I mean,
No,
if,
I know.
if you only knew how like some things looked like, man, this event really showed me the state of our database. Well, if you're in real estate or if you're in any kind of sales, your database is your business. And I was absolutely disappointed in the state of our database. And we have people who do that. And I'm like, hey, what have we been doing this year? Our database is in shambles.
Yep.
And so I just always see room for improvement. I do celebrate, but I think that you're going to find if you're an entrepreneur or you're working with an entrepreneur directly, you're going to find the sign of a great entrepreneur who is not done yet. Somebody who you really want to attach your wagon to their train is it's not good enough portion. Because a true entrepreneur climbs the mountain and they get on top of the mountain and they look behind and they look at the team and they go, great job, guys. Oh, hey, look, another mountain.
That's right.
And because here's what we know is that DJ, this is all imaginary money right now. DJ, if I help you make $150,000 this year for 2026, right? What will you want in 2027?
300.
Yeah. Yeah. And what will you want in 28?
2 more businesses and
And right. And so DJ is going to force me as an entrepreneur. He's going to go, hey, Harrison, if you want to keep me in your world, if you ever look at a mountain and go, oh, we can't climb that mountain. And DJ goes, whoa, hold up. I need to climb that mountain. I'm not done. Well, at that point, I am allowing an entrepreneur inside the business, an intrapreneur. I'm allowing that person a door open and going, my world's just not big enough for you, man. And so if you want to keep great people inside your organization, if you want to foster dreams and growth and winning and legacy inside your organization, your world must constantly grow. And if you're not that person, guys, I'm going to argue, you're probably not a real entrepreneur.
What's wild is that our whole relationship as business partners and stuff started from a conversation like that. It's like, hey, I got this. I want you to come be 50-50. I'm not asking you to put up the same amount of money. I'll match. I'll fill gaps in there. But this is what I want because I know I can grow to this point with you. But to get here, if we're against each other, we're only gonna come up halfway on that. But if we do it together, we're gonna come out of this. And sure enough, and then here we are again, and it's
Back to that Ron Watts Andy Eaton situation.
I can't remember the movie, and hopefully somebody might make it in the comments. But there's a movie. It's like Halle Berry and Tom Hanks, and it's like a couple. The guy that was in the Matrix, like the Mr. Anderson, like that guy.
Oh, that guy. I was like, Keanu Reeves?
Yeah,
no, never mind.
There's but it's like 5 or 6 people, and there's 5 or 6 different storylines from different time points, and it just shows like life is. There are certain people that are just intertwined, and we met in college. We worked at opposing bars. Then we became business owners. Then we parted ways, and we did that, and then over time, I opened one, and and then we came back together, and then we became business partners. We parted ways. Now here we are again, and I look at it, and it's the beauty of that is that it's never been with the exception of very early on, but there was other people telling us what to think then. But it's never been a, we're the same. It's like, hey, bro, you bring all of this over here, and I think I bring this over here, and if we combine it together, it's better.
It's going to be a good thing, right? And that's partnership. That's partnership. Let's talk about. We're going to stay in the entrepreneurial realm for a second. We were talking about the shiny object chasers. All right, let's talk about the people who are the leaders who want to chase 2 things at one time. I think that's a conversation worth having.
Okay.
All right. Have you ever seen someone chase 2 large businesses, 2 dreams at the same time, and win? I'm curious if you've ever had that experience. I know what mine is. Curious what yours is.
I mean, in large businesses.
So I think large businesses would be excluded from this conversation because if you're running a large profitable business, you have the money to hire someone to chase the dream for you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about if it is your baby and you're the one chasing both those dreams at the same time.
Well, I mean, I think there are 2 things that I'm chasing right now. Well, really mainly 3, but 2 business wise that I'm chasing right now, and one of them is this real estate world and the development and growth, and then the other one is the world of politics and things like that. And to me, if you get into something that is very similar, that has workable mechanisms that are the same, it can be done. But if you get into things, even like for me, like restaurant business, bar business, then I went clothing industry. Completely different, bamboozlement, failure, the whole thing, didn't know anything about it, didn't know anything, just knew, hey, I can build a business, I can start it, I can grow it. Learned a lot about partnerships in that. And when you have people that have, with wisdom, that tell you, hey, look, I wouldn't have signed this contract if I were you, but I don't think it's a contract that's really like put together to screw you over. I was like, but if I was you, I would not, because it doesn't protect you. When people tell you that, or they give you advice, listen to them. Even if it's an idea for you that you really like, you get emotional about in the business world, like you want to do this, and listen to the advice of your peers. And when I say your peers, like people that have done it, that have been down those roads, and then go. But because for me, like, the bar and the restaurant and stuff like that. And then,
So bar and restaurant is kind of a vertical integration rather than two separate businesses. So I do believe that vertical integrations are easier than two separate businesses, which is like if you look inside our building, the Pursuit of Happiness is a home services building. I don't get out of home services. People call me for investments all the time. Like, hey, I want to go start a coffee shop. I got somebody offended at me because I said no to a coffee shop. I was like, hey, number one, oversaturated. Number two, I don't know shit about running a coffee shop, and I don't think you do either. And that means like you're asking me for more than money. You're asking me for expertise, and I can't do that. If it's not, I have never succeeded in anything that was not vertically integrated.
if you want to open a coffee shop, we'll find you some property.
Yeah, now if you want to do it, we'll be happy to help find the location for you. And look, we have a great analyst on the team who will look at your numbers and then give you probabilities of X and Y and Z and do all your memorandum and present it to the bank and help you with getting your loans. DJ will go out there and beat the streets and find locations and go knock on doors. And I would be out as a business partnership, right? Because it's just not the space where I'm an expert. It's not where I fit in, and it just doesn't work for me.
I've also learned this about me. There are spaces where I believe, like, look, the bar industry, I know that backwards, forwards, left, right, up, and down.
And I go f yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not going back.
I don't have any interest in that. I'm gonna say I probably have more interest than you do, but I still don't have any interest.
So there may be a day that I would go back to a service industry business, and it would be this. It's when I'm done and I am just doing it for fun. I'll run a profitable business, but it will be centered around food with alcohol as a secondary, and then it will close at 9, 10 o'clock, and that's it. And I'll anybody who brings drugs in the building. That's my blanket statement.
Mine will involve sand.
Some,
go to some coast.
I could go by a beach bar with you and serve some sandwiches and coconuts, I could do it. Amanda always told me, she's like, hey, you ever want to retire? She's like, I'll go braid hair, you bartend, and we'll just be the best beachfront couple ever.
I'm good with that. Flip-flops every day. That's my lifestyle.
Yeah. So, and let just to talk about the shiny object, the person chasing multiple things. I mean, I have never seen it go well.
Not at the same time. I've seen people do this. Like I've got a buddy of mine's dad back home. He was one of those guys, like no matter what he did, he could fall in a puddle of mud and would come out cleaner than he did before he fell in. But he never did them at the same time. Like it was always something completely different. So he had a body shop at one point, sold it. Then he went and worked in the oil and gas industry, sold that company. Then he went over but it was always separate. He didn't have the multiple spinning plates of this one open, this open, this open. It was he created it, sold it, created something different, sold it, created something, and he was able to be successful in that. But they were separate. But like you said, that the vertical integration.
But was he creating and selling at separate times, or was he doing that?
It was completely separate times.
Oh, okay. So, he was focused on one thing. Then
he was focused on
said,
one thing.
I'm going to grow the business to X revenue, and then I'm going to sell it. I'm going to grow the business to X revenue, and I'm going to sell it.
But he was able, I guess my point there was that he did different things and found success in it, but it wasn't different things at the same time.
I could go open up a bar or a restaurant and be successful at it. I know that business backwards and forwards. I could do it. I could do any home services business, whether I am the licensee. Like I'm not a licensed HVAC person, and we own a HVAC company. But you know what I can do? I can learn a product. I can sell it. I know how to run a back office. I know how to set up a CRM. I know how to run service calls. I know how to run marketing. I know how to ask for Google reviews. I know how to ask for referrals. Home services are actually just sales businesses with blue collar labor up front, whereas like real estate is just a pure sales business.
Well, we've also talked about this, especially with AI and the things that are coming. We're at the end of the day, the businesses that are truly going to succeed long term are all marketing companies.
Yeah.
Right. They're companies that are.
So would you agree, marketing companies with a trade front end?
Oh no, there's a deliverable. We're all you're all either buying or selling. We're all selling something. It's the companies that are able to sell really well online. Whether it's real estate, whether it's HVAC, whether it's plumbing, whether it's like anything you're selling. We were going yesterday. We were going through role play on just different sales pitches and stuff like that. And the deal was the person, this was Harrison, was not so much interested in the price of the property. It was the interest rate that really determined his value and how he saw the property. And so the argument was there, and And the sales rep talking to this person was like, guys, what you got to understand is that we can get very jaded where we look at it like we're selling a house. You're not actually selling a house. That's the end product. That's what people get.
Yep.
But what they're actually buying is different for every single one of us. In the bar industry, I used to tell people this all the time. We didn't sell alcohol.
Yeah.
We
Everybody had a goal.
Yeah, we all sold a good time.
Yeah. For some dudes, it was they were looking for a girl, right? For some girls, they may have been looking for a dude, or they had a really bad day. And they went out there with their girlfriends and they just wanted to let loose for a second. For some people, they truly do just actually love live music.
Yeah.
For some people, they're an accountant, an extroverted accountant. And so they sat in an accounting firm all day and no one said a word to them. And they were like, I just need someone to tell me that I'm cool and they want to talk to me.
Get some gas in my tank.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, we had one of them up front. Like, Luke. Yeah. Luke was not a raging alcoholic by any means, but he's an IT guy.
Yeah.
IT guys work around other IT people.
Yeah.
Do you think most IT guys are super extroverted?
No. And my neighbor, as an IT guy, comes over. He don't like to talk, but he likes people talking around him. And
but no, Luke craved like that interpersonal connection, and so Luke would show up and just drink water. He wasn't creeping on girls. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He just showed up to be like, Harrison, my favorite bartender. We're like, what are you drinking out of? Just water, man. I just needed to come say hey to people because I've been locked up in a room with smelly dudes all day, you know? And so we're serving whatever that person's goal is that day.
Right.
And man, the quicker that everyone would catch that in sales, like, hey, you want a house, but why do you want a house, DJ? Well, it's because it's important to my kids. What about that's important for your kids? Well, I didn't have that when I was growing up, and so we had to move like every year when landlords kicked us out. Boom. What DJ's actually after is security and consistency for his children. The house has not shit to do with it.
That's right.
DJ is looking for a place that feels like home, right? That can, I mean, and for some people, for me, you're selling me an investment. I'm looking at cash. Me and Amanda just put a house under contract in Texas, and we were arguing over $5,000. Now, $5,000 on like the area we're looking in, the median, I'm sorry, not the median, the entry level price is a luxury house in Northeast Louisiana. So for me, I'm looking at this very outdated house for a very big number, and like we're arguing over $5K, and the other realtor's like, Harrison, it's $5K, and I was like, I know. He's like, that's a cheeseburger a month. I was like, I know, and I was like, and like, you got to understand is my motivation here is I don't give a shit which house I live in. I'm going to live in the lowest entry level price point on brown shag carpet and wood panel walls because this is an investment for me. If the money doesn't line up, I'm not buying the house. And so what ended up happening is that they waited for like 4 days to see if any other offers came in. They didn't. They accepted my offer. But that was my motivation for buying the house. I don't give a shit about the house.
Right.
It was the why, right? And it's like that in every sales job. It's like the HVAC. What is important to you about this? Roofing. What is important to you about this? Real estate. What's important to you about this? Bartending. Why are you drinking tonight? I had a shitty day, dude. I'm really sorry to hear about that. Here's a drink. You want to talk? I had a great day. Perfect. Let's celebrate, right? Like, and then you just help them achieve their goals. That's all we're doing,
right? Helping
people achieve their goal.
And if you can consistently do that with a smile on your face, they're going to constantly come back. And I think that's also another. So like what I've learned here is like, hey, sales reps, it's your job to get out there and go find out what the people want. From a management perspective, we're going to help you constantly bring them back. Yeah, we're gonna help you. We're gonna help you get those touches. We're gonna help you get to them and get them in an area to where they know that, hey, this experience was phenomenal. Let me go back over here and work with them again because I expect the same thing in return, even if it's not the same, realtor.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we have just a few minutes before we wrap up. I want to end this with an emotional, touching moment.
Sure.
All right. So DJ and I both have kids. Some of you guys may or may not know my story around my son and how all that happened and came around. But I remember, there was a time in my life where I said these words. I would give it all up, every single bit of it, if I could, if I'd get to have time with him again. Like the money, the success, I'd go to just being an average Joe and working a 9 to 5 and just being content with life if I could have my kid back. And so about a year and a half ago, I achieved that. Mother was gracious enough to let him back into my life. So anyway, cut through some of the muckiness here. I get a phone call late last night, and my day's already booked today. And I get a phone call, hey, you need to go get him. And I was like, he's in Florida. Like that's a long go get him. And the conversation was basically just, hey, I just need help. Like, need to go get him. And so I was frustrated for about half a second. And I looked at Amanda, and I had to mind shift myself. And this is something that I do for other people all the time whenever they talk about, I have to go do this. Are you kidding me? F this, F that. And I'm like, man, what an honor it is that she called you and asked you to go spend 6 hours of your life on the road today to go pick him up. It's going to be a really cool thing once you finally get there.
I hate to be that guy, but 12 hours.
Huh?
It's 6 there, right?
Well, so I am getting some relief. They agreed to drive halfway
Okay.
up. So so no, three there, 3 back. So 6. Well, I have a saying in my life, and it's if I have to drive over 4 hours, I'm flying. I hate driving. I absolutely hate it. I don't mind driving 15, 20 minutes down the road, but I hate driving. And I'm busy as hell right now. So anyway, I'm telling you guys this and talking to DJ about it because it's a reminder for me every single day to remember what you said you wanted, remember why you do everything you do, and what seemed to be something that really ticked me off was actually kind of a blessing, and I had to actually sit with myself last night for a second and admit to Amanda, like, I just let my attitude get a hold of me, and man, I get to go pick my son up tomorrow. And I'm excited because I know that after that 3-hour drive there to pick him up, I'm going to get a hug. And me and him are going to have an opportunity to spend 3 hours in the car together to kick off my Thanksgiving.
Get some Mario Kart on the screen or what?
I mean, he's going to get to play Mario Kart on the screen. I'm going to have to drive, unfortunately. The day that Tesla does full autonomous driving, I can sit in the back seat and play video games with Clayton.
Yeah.
Now we're in the money. We'll go a whole 6, like, we're good. Right? We'll sit back there and watch movies together and hang out, and that would be my pleasure. But, man, guys, when you are going through something, I'm going to challenge you to do what I call a reframe. Find the good in it, right? Boss called, and he asked me to do this special project. F this guy, he wants me to work more. Nope. How about this is an opportunity for me to show him what I'm really made of.
This guy trusts me enough to do this because it matters.
Yeah, right?
That's been...
Yeah, spouse calls and asks you to do something with the kids. Instead of being a jerk about it, go, my spouse trusts me enough to go spend time with the kids, and they didn't call their in-laws, they didn't call somebody else, they didn't call stepdad, right, if y'all are divorced, right? Because that other dude could go pick them up too.
That's right.
Right? And, reframe the negative in your life and turn it into a positive. And, man, that's tough.
Man, I'll tell you, probably the last year and a half was telling somebody, like, I've lost about 60 pounds in the last year and a half.
Looking good, Big Daddy.
I'm feeling a lot better.
Yeah.
My knees and hips are very appreciative of it. Still got a long way to go. But in that same breath, the shift that happened there was kind of when you take ownership of your problems, you take ownership of things going on in your life, and you're like, you know what? I did this. How do I change this? And that was a big big one for me. Is this mind shift? It was like, man, people would come to me and they'd do this, and I'm immediately like, Jessica used to tell me all the time, I'm the most negative human being she's ever met, because every time
you can't be.
Yeah, right. But it was one of those, like, I'm constantly looking for the flaws, because when your money has to make sense, you're constantly looking for that.
We're constantly looking for good to great. In everything. Yeah.
It was, and even in the city, like, we talked about this all the time. When people are looking for sites, and when we're going to represent people and they're looking for property they want to develop, we're not looking for what's the best. We're looking on how do we mark things off this list that we created, right? And so it's not, it gets taken as negative a lot, but it became negative. When you start admitting, like, hey, I get to do this. Hey, this is an opportunity for me, and quit using the word problem so much. Like, this is an opportunity, and it's you like
change the word from problem to opportunity in your head and see what sense can
it's
happen
just
after
you
that.
start. It's like I saw this statistic. It was like, the guy, it's a speaker talking in the big room. He's like, what do you think affects you more? Telling yourself, your internal voice saying, I'm going to achieve this, or your internal voice saying you can't do this. Believe it or not, it's that negative affects you a lot more than the positive, because even in that positive, there's still like, even if I don't achieve, I'm still moving forward, but you might not move as forward as you want.
Yeah.
But in that negative, if you say, I'm not going to do this, I can't do it, there ain't nothing that will get you going to do that. And so
I think that's just human, though. I mean, inside of negative lies victim, and victim makes you comfortable, because victim says that you had nothing to do with the outcome. It's somebody else's fault. They did this to you. The world did this to you. God allowed this to happen to you. And you have to, man, what you said earlier actually should be your quote, is you have to, in your brain, you have to reprogram yourself to turn the word problem into opportunity. Our Google got shut down today. What's the opportunity? We need to go get our shit straight. That's our opportunity.
Our opportunities. We fixed problems that we learned last week that we still hadn't fixed today.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just like, oh, we knew we had to do this last week. You know, thanks for bringing it to our attention, Josh.
The guy behind the camera right now asked me why I wasn't yelling, screaming, and mad. And I was like, it's just not how I'm going to show up.
Right.
And I didn't have these words until you just gave them to me. But this isn't a problem for me. It's just an opportunity. And let me be real. If Google takes away my Google page, I've been working on it for 10 years, but I have a much larger database, and it gives me a reason to call a lot of people.
Yeah.
I will rebuild it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad I said the F word earlier, and it's kind of unleashed that for you, but there are going to be more of them.
I was given permission and I took it. Don't show an entrepreneur a door. He'll walk through it.
I do cuss a lot, and I'm trying to get better at that.
That's what the guy behind the camera's for.
Yeah. With the same breath, and going back to that, and I think if we can kind of wrap this whole thing, is like, if you want to control your future, you can.
Yeah.
And that the biggest thing, Mel Robbins has this thing. It's called the 5-second rule. And it's like, if you want to do something, don't say I'm going to count to 5 and then do it. Like, don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and do it.
You don't get sober on a Monday.
Right, because the 5, there's numbers after that 5. You give yourself leeway on that. And it's I'm going to do this. And you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you launch, and you go do it. No matter if you want to do it, it's like working out. It's like going for a walk, doing anything, cleaning your room. And sometimes, the clutter can get to a point in your mind, in your place, in your space, where you don't even realize you can't get past it anymore, and you need a little bit of help. But then you just start chipping away. I'm talking from personal experience here. You start chipping away at things, and then all of a sudden, like, it's crazy what a clean house does for me mentally. And I never realized that till about a year ago. And so you start doing these things, you take the negative out of the way you think and start just pushing positive no matter what, even if you don't believe it. Like, push it. And the craziness, like, if you'd have told me I'd have lost 60 pounds, like, I lost 30 pounds probably in 2 months. Not healthy, wasn't in a good place. But I wasn't eating. There was a lot of stuff going on. But I dropped that, and in that, through that stress, getting out there and just constantly the 10,000 steps a day, just constantly doing that, and just watching it just kind of fall off. I'm like, man, I never would have thought that I can lose this weight like this. But it was part of that. Like, you find something that gets you out of the bed, figure out whatever your mantra is. Mine is 1 step at a time, 1 day at a time. Period. That's it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to conquer this 1 step at a time, 1 day at a time. And just start pushing forward. And then, you'll wake up one day and you may not be happy with the results, i.e. only raising $48,000.
It's a very sad day.
But then in the same breath, you will have people that come to you and say, dude, you know what y'all accomplished in one day.
Yeah.
$48,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, you can be that person yourself that always wants to push forward. And if you can figure out how to keep doing that, you will keep moving forward. Even when you lose, you're going to keep moving forward, because if you fall forward, you're still moving forward, right?
Yeah, love it. All right, guys, that is What's the Deal for this week. And I just came up with a new drinking game in my head. Every time DJ talks about the city, you take a shot. Hey. We look forward to seeing our new drunken customers.
And if you need a Christmas shot, Rumplemints is a good peppermint shot.
He sent me that video right before this, and I almost gagged. And you guys don't know the story, but if you were a bartender in the early 2000 or late 2000s, sorry, I didn't even graduate high school, 2007. Yeah, the 2009 to 2000. I don't know, 16 range of bartending, you drank a lot of Rumplemans, and DJ made me gag this morning.
And Goldschlager
And Fireball, Jaeger bombs. Bayou bombs actually were not bad.